Once upon a time, in a little village called Green Hill, there lived a girl named Lila. Lila was 10 years old. With bright brown eyes, curly black hair, and a big, curious smile. She loved adventures. Adventure means something exciting, like exploring new places or solving mysteries. Green Hill was a peaceful place, surrounded by green fields, tall trees, and a river that sparkled like silver under the sun. The village had small houses with red roofs, a bakery that smelled of warm bread, and a windmill that turned slowly in the breeze. But Lila always felt there was something more out there, something hidden, waiting for her to discover it. One sunny morning, everything changed. The air was warm, the sky was clear, and Lila's wish for an adventure was about to come true. This is the story of how she found the secret of the hidden garden, and so much more. Lila woke up early that day. The sun was just rising, painting the sky with pink and gold. Birds sang outside her window, and she could hear the soft sound of the river in the distance. She jumped out of bed, her bare feet cold on the wooden floor, and ran downstairs. Her mother was in the kitchen, stirring a pot of oatmeal. On the table, Lila noticed an old book. It was dusty, with a cracked leather cover and yellow pages that smelled like time. She opened it carefully, and something slipped out, a folded piece of paper. It was a map. The paper was old and torn at the edges, but Lila could see drawings. A winding river, a big tree with wide branches, a bridge, and a strange X mark near a wall. At the bottom, in shaky handwriting, were the words, "Find the hidden garden." Lila's heart beat fast. Hidden means secret, not easy to see or find. She ran to her mother, holding the map like a treasure. "Mom, look at this," Lila said, her voice full of excitement. Her mother wiped her hands on her apron and peered at the map. "Oh my," she said. "This belonged to your grandfather, Leo. He loved mysteries and stories. He used to tell me about a secret place he found as a boy. Maybe this map is real." Lila's eyes grew wide. Her grandfather had been an explorer in his own way, always telling tales of far-off lands. She decided right then she would follow the map and find the hidden garden. She ate her oatmeal quickly, put on her blue sneakers, and packed a small bag with a water bottle, a sandwich, and a flashlight, just in case. Then she kissed her mother goodbye and stepped outside into the bright morning. Lila started at the river, the first clue on the map. The water was clear and cold, rushing over smooth stones. Little fish darted under the surface, their silver scales catching the light. Lila walked along the riverbank, the soft, grassy ground next to the water. She held the map tightly, studying it as she went. It said, "Follow the river until the big tree." The river twisted and turned through Green Hill, passing meadows full of wildflowers and a wooden dock where old Mr. Fisher sat with his fishing pole every day. Lila waved to him, and he waved back with a smile. After walking for 20 minutes, Lila's legs felt a little tired, but she didn't stop. The sun climbed higher, warming her face. Finally, she saw it. A huge tree standing alone by the river. Its trunk was thick, its branches spread wide like arms, and its green leaves rustled in the wind. It was so tall, it seemed to touch the clouds. Lila smiled. She was on the right path. Path means the way you go, like a road or trail. She sat under the tree to rest, taking a sip of water. That's when she noticed something carved into the bark. A small arrow pointing up. Did it mean climb? Lila was brave, even though heights made her a little nervous. She tucked the map into her pocket, tied her shoelaces tighter, and started to climb. The bark was rough and scratched her hands, but she held on. Up and up she went, branch by branch, until she reached a high spot with a perfect view. She could see all of Green Hill, the red roofs, the windmill, the river winding like a ribbon. And then, far in the distance, she spotted something strange, a wall covered in green vines, shimmering in the sunlight. Could that be the hidden garden? Lila climbed down the tree carefully, her heart racing with excitement. The map showed a bridge after the tree, so she knew where to go next. She walked along the river again, the sound of water keeping her company. After 15 minutes, she reached the bridge. It was old and wooden, with creaky planks and a rope railing that swayed in the wind. The river rushed loudly beneath it, and Lila felt a shiver. The bridge looked shaky, like it might break. She checked the map. It said, "Cross the bridge to find the next clue." Cross means to go from one side to the other. Lila took a deep breath and stepped onto the bridge. The wood groaned under her feet. Halfway across, one plank wobbled, and she froze. Her hands gripped the rope tight. "I can do this," she whispered to herself. Slowly, she kept going, one step at a time. The wind blew her hair into her face, but she didn't stop. At last, she reached the other side and let out a big sigh of relief. She had crossed the bridge. On the far bank, Lila found a surprise, a small basket hanging from a low tree branch. Inside was a note and a piece of chalk. The note read, "Well done. Mark your path and look for the wall." Lila grinned. She used the chalk to draw an X on a nearby rock, marking where she'd been. Then she looked up and saw it. The wall of vines, closer now, glowing green in the afternoon light. She was almost there. Lila ran toward the wall, her sneakers crunching on the dry grass. It took her 20 minutes to get there, and by then, the sun was high overhead. Up close, the wall was enormous, taller than her house, maybe even taller than the windmill. It was made of gray stone, but thick green vines covered it like a blanket. Vines are long plants that climb and twist over things. Lila touched them. They were soft and cool like silk. She studied the map again. The X mark was right here. But where was the garden? She walked along the wall, looking for a way in. The vines rustled as she pushed them aside. Then she saw it, a small gap in the stone, just wide enough for her to squeeze through. Squeeze means to fit into a tight space. Lila hesitated. What if she got stuck? But her curiosity was stronger than her fear. She dropped to her knees, took her flashlight from her bag, and crawled through the gap. The vines brushed her face, and dirt smudged her clothes. For a moment, everything was dark and quiet. Then she popped out on the other side and gasped. Before her was the most beautiful garden she had ever seen. Flowers bloomed in every color. Red roses, yellow daisies, blue violets. Butterflies fluttered through the air, their wings sparkling like jewels. A little stone fountain stood in the center, splashing water into a clear pool. Tall trees with pink blossoms lined the edges, and a soft breeze carried the sweet smell of honey. This was the hidden garden. Lila stood still, her mouth open in wonder. She had found it. Lila explored the garden slowly, her eyes wide. She walked past the fountain, dipping her fingers in the cool water. She picked a daisy and tucked it behind her ear. Then she saw a wooden bench under a tree and sat down to eat her sandwich. As she chewed, she noticed something under the bench. A metal box with a tiny keyhole, It was rusty but strong, locked tight. Lila didn't have a key, but she wouldn't give up. She searched the garden for clues. Near the fountain, something shiny winked in the sunlight. Lila ran over and found a silver key shaped like a flower. Her hands shook as she picked it up and hurried back to the box. She slid the key into the lock. It fit perfectly. With a soft click, the box opened. Inside was a folded letter, a seed, and a small smooth stone painted with a star. Lila unfolded the letter and read it aloud. Dear Finder, welcome to my secret garden. I built this place for dreamers like you. Plant the seed and make a wish. Keep the stone for luck. From Grandpa Leo. Lila's grandfather had made this garden. Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled. She remembered his stories, his kind voice. She took the seed, a tiny, round one, and dug a hole in the soft dirt near the fountain. She dropped the seed in, covered it with soil, and whispered, I wish to have more adventures and share them with friends. Then he slipped the star stone into her pocket. But the garden had more secrets. As Lila stood up, she heard a rustling sound. She turned and saw a wooden gate at the far end, half hidden by vines. She hadn't noticed it before. She walked over and pushed it open. Beyond the gate was a narrow path leading to a pond. The water was still, like a mirror reflecting the sky. In the middle of the pond floated a tiny boat made of twigs and leaves. Lila laughed. This garden was full of surprises. The sun was sinking now, turning the sky orange and purple. Lila knew it was time to go home. She took one last look at the garden, the flowers, the fountain, the pond, and promised to come back. She grabbed the letter and key, squeezed through the wall, and retraced her steps. She crossed the bridge again, more confidently this time, and followed the river past the big tree. The chalk X on the rock was still there, guiding her back. When she reached home, the stars were just appearing. Her mother was waiting on the porch, a lantern glowing in her hand. Lila, where have you been? She asked. I found it, Mom, Lila said, breathless. The hidden garden. Grandpa made it. Look, she showed the letter and the key. Her mother read it, her eyes shining with tears. He always said you were like him, her mother said, hugging her tight. I'm so proud of you. That night, Lila lay in bed, the starstone under her pillow. She dreamed of flowers, butterflies, and the little boat on the pond. The garden was hers now, a magical place to visit whenever she wanted. And maybe one day, her seed would grow into a tree, tall and strong, full of new stories. The end.